I'll never forget the look on my mom's face when she walked into the kitchen and saw me standing there with my suitcases, car keys in one hand and my phone in the other, the banking app still open. She opened her mouth to say something, probably to ask why I hadn't started dinner or taken my little brother to practice, but I just held up a hand. The joint account is empty, I said. I closed it. The money is in an account with only my name on it. The credit cards are canceled. Your direct deposit from my paycheck? Yeah, I reversed that too. You're on your own. The silence was deafening. To understand why I did it, you have to understand the dynamic. I'm the oldest of 4. My parents had my brother when I was 7, and then 2 more kids back to back when I was 9. By the time I was 12, I was basically a third parent. I changed diapers, made bottles, handled homework duty, and cooked meals because my mom just couldn't handle it all. My dad worked long hours, or so he said. Looking back, I think he just didn't want to be home. But here's the kicker. I was also the black sheep. The difficult one. The one with the bad attitude. Why? Because I asked questions. Because I pointed out that it wasn't fair that I had to miss school events to watch the kids while my mom went to happy hour with her friends. Because I dared to want things for myself. New clothes that weren't hand-me-downs from a cousin. Money to go to the movies, a life outside of that house. When I turned 16, I got a job. A shitty hostess job at a diner, making minimum wage plus tips. My mom's solution to our financial stress was simple. I would contribute. At first, it was just to help with groceries. Then it was just to help with the electric bill. By the time I was 17, I was paying the entire cable and internet bill, half the rent, and buying all the groceries for the family of 6. I was also still the default babysitter, cook, and cleaner. And I was still the black sheep. Every time I tried to set a boundary. I can't work Friday night and watch the kids Saturday, I have a project due. It was a fight. You're so selfish, my mom would scream. After everything we do for you. You live under our roof, you eat our food, and you can't help your own family. The gaslighting was Olympic level. I was paying their bills and they acted like I was a mooch. The roof and food line always got me. Because I was paying for that roof. I was paying for that food. The breaking point came 2 weeks after my 18th birthday. I had just gotten my first real job. A full-time administrative assistant position. I was so proud. I was going to save up. Maybe finally get my own car that wasn't a 20-year-old hand-me-down with a busted AC. And eventually move out. The day after I got my first paycheck, I came home from work to find a black trash bag on the front porch. Inside were my clothes, my books, my cheap jewelry, and my pillow. Taped to the bag was a note in my mom's handwriting. You're 18. Time to grow up. We need your room for your brother. Don't come back. I stood there for a solid 5 minutes just staring at it. I wasn't even sad. I was just cold. An icy, clarifying rage settled over me. I remembered the $800 I had just deposited into the joint account that morning for the mortgage. I remembered the $200 automatic payment I had set up for their credit card. I remembered that I was the only reason they had Netflix, Hulu, and high-speed internet. I didn't knock. I didn't scream. I got back in my beater car, drove to the nearest coffee shop with free Wi-Fi, and logged into the bank. One by one, I transferred every single penny out of the joint account into a new solo account I opened right there on my phone. I went through every automatic payment I was linked to, their credit card, the streaming services, the cell phone bill that was in my name, and I canceled every single one. I changed my direct deposit information with my employer. Then I drove to a friend's house, the one person from high school who still talked to me. Her parents let me crash in their guest room for a few weeks while I figured things out. They were horrified by my story. They actually asked me if I was okay if I needed a therapist. It was the first time anyone had treated me like a human being with feelings, not an ATM with a pulse. A week later, my mom found me. She'd gotten my number from my old job. She was frantic. The mortgage payment had bounced. Their credit card was declined at the grocery store. The internet was off. The TV was a black screen. She didn't ask how I was. She didn't apologize. She screamed, "How could you do this to your family? You're killing your father. We're going to lose the house because of you." And I laughed. I actually laughed out loud. Because of me? I said. I was a child. Your child. And you treated me like a paycheck and a servant. You kicked me out with a trash bag. That's on you. Don't ever contact me again. I hung up and blocked her number. That was 3 years ago. I've been in therapy. I have a good job, a small but nice apartment, and a chosen family that actually loves me. I hear through the grapevine that they lost the house, that my parents are living with my aunt, and that my younger siblings are struggling. Part of me feels for my siblings. They were victims too. But I had to save myself. I was drowning and they were the ones holding me under. I'm still the black sheep. But now? I'm a black sheep with excellent credit, a savings account and zero guilt. Sometimes the best revenge isn't setting the house on fire. It's turning off the automatic payments and walking away. But here's the part one didn't expect. The siblings. For a long time I kept my distance. I figured they'd been brainwashed, that they saw me the way my parents did, as the ungrateful, difficult one who abandoned them. And maybe they did, at first. My mom was a master at poisoning the well. I'm sure I was the villain of every dinner table conversation. The first crack came about a year after I left. My sister Lily, the one who was 9 when I was kicked out, now 14, found me on Instagram. She sent a DM that just said, "Is it true you used to pay our bills?" I stared at that message for an hour. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know if it was a trap, if my mom was standing over her shoulder dictating the words. But something in me softened. I wrote back, "Yes, it's true. For almost 2 years. What followed was a slow, painful, beautiful unraveling. Lily started asking more questions. Why did I leave? Why didn't I come back? Why did mom and dad say I stole from them? I answered every question honestly, without venom, without trying to turn her against them. I just told her my truth. Then it was Jake, the brother who was 7 when I left. He reached out a few months after Lily did. He was 15 and had just gotten his first job at a grocery store. The very first week, our mom asked him for his paycheck to help with bills. He thought of me. He thought of what I'd told Lily, and he said no. The fight that followed was nuclear, but he held his ground. He called me that night, crying. "She's doing to me what she did to you," he said. "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry we didn't see it." The youngest two, the twins, were only 6 when I left. They barely remembered me. Reaching them meant going through Lily and Jake, who became my allies, my translators. They started gently pointing things out to the twins. "Remember how Auntie used to make us dinner? Remember how she'd help with homework? That wasn't her job. That was Mom and Dad's job. She was just a kid like you." Took years. It took patience I didn't know I had. There were setbacks. My mom would catch wind of us talking and go on the offensive, telling the kids I was trying to steal them, that I was a liar, that I destroyed the family. And for a while some of them pulled back. But the seeds were planted. The real turning point came when Lily turned 18 and moved out. She came straight to my apartment. She stayed on my couch for 3 months, and in that time we talked more than we had in our entire lives combined. I told her about the years of parentification, the gaslighting, the trash bag. She told me what it was like after I left, how the chaos escalated, how my mom turned on her next, how my dad just checked out completely. "I used to think you were the lucky one," she said one night, crying. "You got out. But now I realize you were the only one who ever took care of us. And we let you take all the blame." That broke something open in me. All the anger, all the resentment I'd been carrying. It started to loosen its grip. Now 3 years later, I have a relationship with all 4 of them. It's not perfect. There's a lot of healing still to do. But Jake calls me for advice on everything from girl problems to how to stand up to our mom. The twins, now 9, send me silly TikToks and ask when I'm coming to visit. They know the truth, not because I trashed our parents, but because I let them see over time what love actually looks like. Consistency. Honesty. Boundaries. I still don't talk to my parents. I don't think I ever will. They've never apologized, never acknowledged what they did. They live with my aunt now, bitter and broke, and from what I hear, they still tell anyone who'll listen about the daughter who abandoned them and stole their money. But here's the thing about being the black sheep. You see the herd for what it really is. And sometimes you get to lead a few of the lost ones out of the valley. My siblings aren't lost anymore. They found their way to me. And I'll spend the rest of my life making sure they know they were always worth saving.